Wow, this new room is amazing.
Congratulations, it's really nice.
Hello everyone, wishing you all good health and peace in life. There are moments in life when joy shines brighter because it is born from struggle. For Huyen's little family, that moment has finally come. The dream room they once thought impossible now stands before them, warm, safe, and filled with hope, all thanks to the help of a kind man. From nights of tears and silent prayers to mornings filled with laughter, Dee has walked beside Huyen and Maya, turning their pain into strength, their fear into faith. And now, as the walls of their new home embrace them, their smiles carry a truth that no storm can take away. Happiness grows where love and kindness are sown. The morning sun poured through the mist, painting the bamboo leaves gold. In the little clearing behind the village, a wooden house now stood proudly where once there had only been a leaking hut. Huyen stood in the doorway, her eyes moist with disbelief. For so many years, she had dreamed of a safe room where her daughter Maya could sleep without rain dripping through the roof, without the fear of storms tearing away the walls. That dream, once impossible, now stood before her, real, solid, and warm. Beside her, Dee wiped the sweat from his brow, his rough hands still marked by blisters from days of sawing, hammering, and carrying wood. He was not Maya's father, not Huyen's husband, but he worked with the devotion of a man who had made their happiness his life's purpose. "Mom, our new room is so beautiful," Maya squealed, running barefoot across the smooth bamboo floor. Her laughter rang like silver bells, echoing through the simple house. She twirled in the middle of the room, her little dress fluttering, and then rushed into Dee's arms. "Uncle Dee, thank you. Now when it rains, Maya won't get wet anymore." Dee lifted her gently, his smile tender. "This room is yours, Maya. Study well, and fill it with your dreams." Huyen could no longer hold back her tears. For years she had endured sleepless nights, wrapping her daughter in old blankets to keep out the cold, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep. Now, because of one man's kindness, those promises had found a home. The villagers came to look, nodding with admiration. "Dee is a good man," one of them said softly. "Not bound by blood, but bound by love. A true father." That evening, as the three of them sat together in the new room, sharing a humble meal of rice and jackfruit, the air was filled with something richer than any feast piece. Maya leaned her head on her mother's shoulder and whispered, "Mom, we finally have our dream house." Huyen kissed her daughter's hair, her voice trembling but full of gratitude. "Yes, my child. From tears to smiles, our life has changed." And as the oil lamp glowed against the fresh bamboo walls, Dee sat quietly, his heart full. He needed no recognition, no reward. The joy in Huyen's eyes and the laughter of little Maya were enough. He had given them a room, but in return, they had given him a family. The first night in the new room felt like a dream. For the first time in many years, Huyen did not wake up to the sound of dripping water or the chill of damp clothes. Instead, she opened her eyes to the soft glow of the oil lamp, watching Maya sleep peacefully on the wooden bed Dee had built with his own hands. She turned and saw Dee sitting quietly by the doorway, carving a piece of wood. His face was tired but calm, and his eyes reflected the gentle light. "Dee," Huyen whispered, afraid to wake Maya, "you've given us more than just a house. You've given us hope." Dee shook his head slowly. I only did what anyone with a heart should do. I just wanted Maya to have a place to grow, to dream without fear. The days that followed were filled with simple joys. In the mornings, Maya sat by the new window, sunlight pouring over her little books as she practiced her letters. Huyen sewed clothes beside her, the sound of her needle mixing with Maya's laughter. Outside, Dee worked in the small garden, planting vegetables that would soon feed them all. Sometimes, Maya would run out to him, carrying a cup of water in her tiny hands. "Uncle Dee, drink this. You must rest," she said, her eyes wide with concern. Dee would smile, take the cup, and ruffle her hair. "Thank you, little one. You're the best helper." At night, when the crickets sang and the wind rustled the bamboo, the family gathered in their room. They shared stories, sang softly, and let the warmth of togetherness heal the wounds of the past. The house was simple, but to them it was a castle, filled not with gold or jewels but with love and safety. One evening, as rain began to fall outside, Huyen held Maya close and looked at Dee. Before, every drop of rain brought fear. Now, every drop reminds me of your kindness. You've turned our tears into smiles. Dee lowered his eyes, humbled, and replied quietly, "And you have given me something I never thought I'd find again, a family." In that small wooden house, love and gratitude wove themselves into every corner. The storms outside no longer mattered, because inside, they had built something stronger than any wall, a home made of kindness, courage, and dreams. News of Huyen's new room spread quickly through the small village. Neighbors who had once watched her struggle now came with bright smiles and warm words, eager to see the little wooden home that stood proudly against the coming winter. One morning, an old woman named Balan arrived, carrying a basket of guavas. She placed it on the wooden table and said, "Huyen, these are from my garden. Maya should eat well to grow strong for school." Maya's eyes lit up as she reached for the fruit. "Thank you, Grandma Lan," she said with her sweet, innocent voice, making everyone laugh. Later that afternoon, Mr. Tam, a farmer from the next field, brought young fruit trees. "Dee, plant these around the house," he suggested. "In a few years, Maya will pick her own mangoes and guavas. A home is not complete without trees growing beside it." Dee smiled, taking the saplings with gratitude. "You are right, Uncle Tam. Let's plant them together." So the villagers gathered outside, their hands working side by side. Huyen dug the earth while Dee placed the trees into the ground, firm and steady. Maya clapped her hands with joy each time a tree stood upright. She ran around, sprinkling water with a small bamboo scoop, as if she alone could make the trees grow faster. That evening, after the work was done, everyone sat in the courtyard. The sky blushed with shades of orange and pink as the sun dipped behind the hills. Someone lit a small fire, and laughter filled the air as they shared stories and roasted sweet potatoes. Huyen sat quietly for a moment, her heart overflowing. She looked at Dee, who was listening attentively to Mr. Tam's tales, and then at Maya, who was singing softly while peeling a sweet potato. For the first time in so long, she felt not just safe but truly at home, surrounded by kindness, love, and the promise of tomorrow. Dee glanced at her and caught the tears in her eyes. He said softly so only she could hear, "Huyen, this house may be built of wood, but what holds it together is love. That's what makes it strong." She nodded, unable to speak, her hand pressing against her heart. And in that simple moment, beneath the wide evening sky, their new life truly began, one built not on sorrow, but on gratitude, courage, and the quiet strength of family.
The morning of Maya's first school day arrived with golden sunlight spilling across the little wooden house. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of wet earth after a night of gentle rain. Inside, Maya stood in front of a small mirror, her face glowing with excitement. She wore a simple white dress that Huyen had carefully mended, its fabric clean and fresh, though patched in places. Her school bag, second-hand but sturdy, was neatly packed with books, pencils, and the tiny notebook Dee had bought for her. "Mom, do I look like a real student?" Maya asked, her eyes wide with hope. Huyen bent down, smoothing her daughter's hair, and whispered, "You look more than that, my love. You look like a dream finally coming true." Her voice trembled, though she tried to hide the tears brimming in her eyes. Dee stood quietly by the doorway, holding a pair of small sandals he had polished the night before. He knelt down and gently slipped them onto Maya's feet. "Every step you take today is the start of a new journey, Maya," he said softly. "Walk proudly, because we all believe in you." The three of them set out together, hand in hand, walking along the dusty village path. Neighbors greeted them along the way, offering warm wishes for Maya's new beginning. The sound of children's laughter grew louder as they neared the school. A small building painted in faded yellow, its windows open to the morning light.
When they reached the schoolyard, Maya squeezed her mother's hand tightly. "Will you wait for me here when class is over?" she asked. Huyen knelt down and kissed her forehead. "Always," she promised. Maya took a deep breath, then turned toward the classroom. She walked slowly at first, but then, catching sight of other children her age, she smiled and hurried to join them. Huyen and Dee stood together by the gate, watching as Maya disappeared into the classroom. Huyen's tears finally fell, silent and unstoppable. She covered her mouth, her body trembling with emotion. Dee placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "Don't cry, Huyen," he said gently. "Today isn't an ending, it's the beginning of everything she deserves." Huyen looked up at him, her tears shining like morning dew. "Yes, Dee," she whispered. "Thanks to you, she finally has a future." And as the school bell rang, echoing across the fields, both of them felt their hearts swell with pride and gratitude. Their journey had been hard, but this moment, watching Maya step into a brighter world, was worth every sacrifice. The journey of Huyen, Maya, and Dee teaches us that true happiness is not found in wealth or luxury, but in love, sacrifice, and the courage to start again. Dee was not bound to Maya by blood, yet he chose to stand beside her as a father. His quiet dedication shows that family is not only who we are born to, but also who chooses to walk with us through hardship and joy. Huyen's tears and struggles remind us that even in the darkest times, resilience and hope can build a new beginning. Her love for Maya gave her the strength to endure, and her gratitude gave her the wisdom to cherish every small blessing. Maya's bright smile and first steps into school reveal the true meaning of dreams. That with love and support, even the most fragile hope can grow into a future full of light. Their story teaches us that when kindness is shared, it multiplies. A small wooden house becomes a warm home, a patched dress becomes a symbol of pride, and a man without blood ties becomes a true father. In the end, it is not where we live, but who we live for, That gives life its deepest meaning.